Hi, everyone. Sean Gilliam here. Welcome to Real Estate on the Front Range, my podcast where I talk about all things real estate here in Northern Colorado. In this episode, I'm going to be taking a look at the monthly market update for October. As usual, I'm going to highlight the data for Boulder, Larimer, and Weld counties. I'm also going to take a look at mortgage interest rates and what they're doing as of today. And then I also want to highlight what the average sales price is in various towns across the Front Range, the areas that I serve in, so that you get an idea of how the market is trending and what you get for your money in each of these various communities. So stay tuned. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate on the Front Range, my podcast where I cover all things real estate here on the Front Range in Northern Colorado. Join me to get market updates, tips, and information on relevant topics to make sure you're fully informed before you buy or sell your next home. This is Sean Gilliam, your host, and I look forward to you joining me on Spotify, Google, Apple, or whatever your favorite podcast is for the latest episodes. All right, let's get started with Boulder County. We'll take a look here at the number of new listings. There are 390 new listings compared to last year at this time when there were 352 for the month of September. That's up almost 11% from last year. Closed sales, 230. That's down almost 26% from last year at this time when it was 309. So an indication that the market is slowing a little bit. Days on market until sale is 51. That's up 4.1% from last year when it was at 49. Not a huge change, but an indication that homes are sitting on the market a little bit longer than we saw a couple of years ago. Median sales price is at $830,000. That is up 3.8% from last year at this time when it was at $800,000. Average sales price is at $1,022,000. That's down 3.4% from last year when it was at $1,058,000. Percent of list price received is at 98.3%. That's down just 0.4% from last year when it was at 98.7%. It's just an indication that as we get into the fall, as homes sit on the market a little bit longer, that there's more negotiating room and sellers are selling their homes typically below list price. And again, that's more of a seasonal thing, but it's also an indication or indicative of this higher interest rate market that we have. So that does have an impact on things as well. Inventory of homes for sale is 727. That is up 19.4% from last year at this time when it was at 609. And that again, is just because homes are staying on the market a little longer. So every month when they take a look at that data, it starts to pile up. And as such, our month supply of inventory is at 3.2. That's up 39% from last year at this time when it was at 2.3. So homes are sitting on the market a little longer overall, and buyers, fall is typically a good time for buying a home because you have more negotiating room as seasonally there's not as much activity on the market. And so it is a good time to buy, and that's reflective in that percent of list price received. So it is a good option, but again, we have those higher interest rates, and that is putting a lot of people or giving a lot of people pause and causing them to sit on the sidelines until those rates come down. Let's take a look at Larimer County. New listings is at 447. That's down 10.2% from last year at this time when it was at 498. Closed sales is at 362. That's down 18.3% compared to last year when it was at 443. The days on market until sale or until a home goes under contract is 61. That's up almost 30% from last year at this time when homes on average would go under contract within 47 days. The median sales price is $600,000. That's up 4% from last year when it was at $577,000. The average sales price is $678,000. That's up 3.2% from last year when it was at $657,000. The percent of list price received is 98.9%. That's down 0.4% from last year when it was at 99.3%. Again, that's just an indication when homes are staying on the market longer, sellers are having to do price reductions, oftentimes more than one, in an attempt to entice buyers. And that's why that percent of list price received is slowly going down. The inventory of homes for sale is 925. That's up 14.2% from last year when it was at 810. Again, with homes sitting on the market longer, and as they record this metric month to month, the amount of inventory starts to pile up. And that's why we see our month supply of inventory in Larimer County is at 2.6. That's up almost 37% from last year at this time when it was at 1.9. Let's take a look at Weld County. The number of new listings is 450. That's down 26.4% from last year at this time when it was at 611. Closed sales is 383. That's down 23.4% from last year when it was at 500. Days on market until sales 54. That's up 17.4% compared to last year when it was at 46 days before a home went under contract. Median sales price is $503,900. That's up 3.9% compared to last year when it was at $485,000. The average sales price has gone up 5.5% to $545,000 compared to last year when it was at $516,000 at this time last year. Percent of list price received, 99.1. That is down 0.3% from this time last year when it was at 99.4. And then our inventory of homes for sale for Weld County is at 920. That's down almost 10% from last year at this time when it was at 1,019. And our month supply of inventory is at 2.3. That's up 21% from last year at this time when it was at 1.9. So that is the data for Boulder, Larimer, Weld counties, the three major counties here in the northern Front Range of Colorado. Next, I want to take a quick look at mortgage interest rates. This is what I've mentioned just recently, but also in previous market updates, that the higher interest rate environment is really giving a lot of buyers and sellers pause, and they are not entering the market. They're going to wait until those rates go down. As you can see here, this is end of day yesterday. The 30-year fixed rate for a mortgage was 7.6%. As you saw earlier, or I guess it was last week, it was at 7.8%. So it has come down here in the last day or two. So we'll see what happens in the coming days and months to see if they'll get down to a more reasonable range where we might start to see buyers come back on the market. I think once it dips back down into the 6% range, I think that's where we're going to see some probably a significant increase in activity from buyers and sellers. So we shall see. Now I want to take a look at the average sales price of various communities along the Front Range and just highlight some patterns. You're probably aware of this because you've looked at homes on the market, as a lot of people do. And but I want to highlight here Boulder. The average sales price of a home in Boulder is $1,494,000. And then that's kind of the epicenter of high prices, and then it kind of goes out from there. So Longmont, the average sales price of a home for September was $742,000. Erie has an average sale price of $833,000. Lyons is $722,000. Berthoud, $700,000. And Meade, $743,000. They're kind of their own thing. The prices started to come down as you leave Boulder, but then you hit Berthoud and Meade and they pop up again. And then as you can see here, they go back down. Loveland, I've always thought that Loveland, you always get a little more bang for your buck west of I-25 in Loveland than you will anywhere else. And so the average sales price of a home in Loveland is $608,000. Fort Collins, the average sales price of a home is $687,000. And then Estes Park, because I live up that way and that's a community I serve as well, is $927,000. Now I want to take a look at the communities that are east of I-25, and I think you'll see the obvious and interesting pattern. Johnstown, for instance, the average sales price of a home is $560,000. Firestone, $457,000. Frederick, $496,000. And Dacono, $451,000. So as soon as you go over I-25, you're going to start to get more home for your money. And that's just kind of the way it is. The closer to the mountains you are, the more expensive, and vice versa. So that is what's going on in the market. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. I'd be glad to help you. Also, pay attention. Check out my YouTube channel. I have some helpful videos on how to buy a home. That's a growing series that I'm putting together. And also, I have a recent video I put out that talks about the 3 options for home buyers in this higher interest rate environment. So check that out if you want some answers to some questions you might have. And otherwise, I will look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.